Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to create an instance or a VM in AWS. I shouldn't say VM, but it's actually like a VM, so it's like a virtual machine in a VMware environment. So this is the AWS console. So as you can see, they have like support here. These are the regions for their data center. And this is your account, your billings, your security credentials. Basically, you're changing your passwords and username and all these things. We're going to go through all these in different classes. But for today, we are focusing on EC2. So when you first create an account, it will show you an option like, for example, you can launch your virtual machine with EC2 because you want to get started, right? First thing that you need is a virtual machine, of course. Or you can just build a web app. Of course, this is another service from AWS. So EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So that's why it's EC2, that's Compute Cloud, CC. So if you want to deploy a serverless microservice, these are actually like new services from AWS. Register a domain. Well, this is Route 53 because the port number 53 is actually for DNS. So when you just type port 53, you go here, it's DNS, port 53. So that's how AWS calls DNS, basically, DNS services. And like other services, but what we're focusing today is EC2. You can just search for EC2 here, or you can just go here and click on EC2. Okay? So here it will show you the number of instances, running instances, the volumes. I'm just going to show you exactly what these resources mean. But for now, let's just go ahead and create a virtual machine or an instance. Okay? So first, you can just either go here to start using Amazon EC2. You can just click on here, or instances. Okay? So just click on instances. So first, I have one instance here. I created this like a couple of days ago, but what you have to do is just click on this launch instance. Okay? Okay. So if you have a free account, like that means you don't want to pay for AWS. So it's better to go with a free OS, because if you want to choose Red Hat is not free. Okay? So what you have to do, you just, for example, go and choose Ubuntu because Ubuntu is free, right? Excuse me. Or you can just go to community AMIs, like for images. Check the box for Ubuntu 64-bit, right? I'm gonna explain what EBS and instance store means, but for now, just let's choose one image. So some of these images are uploaded by people, right? Or let's say the users, right? So it's like, what I would say is it's better to just search for like officials, right? So when you search for officials here, sorry, I have to just check this box. That's 64. Okay. So when you search for officials here, so you search like you see CentOS, for example, you will see different images. So this one is actually uploaded by CentOS itself, right? So sold by Intel. Okay, but for today's class, we can just go ahead and choose Ubuntu 64-bit, right? So these are all template that as it says here, these are templates that contains software configuration, right? What does that mean? For example, this one, let's just find a very good example here for you guys to understand. I'm not sure if I can just search for it. Ubuntu Apache. For example, Apache is already installed on this one. So actually, so when you create this VM, it comes with Apache server, okay? So when you basically type the IP address of this VM in your browser, it will work. So you don't have to actually go ahead and install Apache yourself, okay? So what we do, virtual Ubuntu, I'll just go with 1404, select, okay. So here it says free tier eligible. So that means this is a free instance for you guys, okay? So if you choose this one, you don't pay for it. You don't pay for anything. And it supports IPv6, right? So IPv6 is being supported right now. So if you see my other videos, you will see that how you have to enable IPv6 for your environment, okay? So for now, excuse me. So for now, choose to t2.micro. And it will exactly tell you how many CPUs and memory it will allocate to your VM, okay? So for example, if you create an instance or a VM, which is type t2.micro, that means it will have one vCPU, okay? Virtual CPUs for the instance, and 1 gig of RAM. Network performance is low to moderate, so it means network-wise, it's not really great, but it will do the job for us. I will explain what EBS is, and for now, go to configure instance details. Okay. Now here's the thing. Excuse me. You can just create your own VPC. What is VPC? I'm gonna explain VPC in my other classes, but for now, just consider this as a very isolated networking environment, right? So that will be your environment, which will provide you an isolated network, right? So you will have your own network inside AWS, okay? So you can have your own setup IPs, IP ranges. You can have your own IPv6. So basically, you will have your your own environment. You're gonna manage all the networking resources inside AWS. But for now, since we haven't created any VPC, virtual private cloud, so we're just gonna go by default, which is this one, okay? So basically I'm saying AWS, okay, I'm just gonna use your network for now, your default network. But in the future, I'm just gonna create my own VPC, my own network, my own subnets and everything, okay? So the subnet can be in anywhere. It can be in west, east, based on these data center, but like I'm just gonna go with no preference. Excuse me, guys. So I'm just gonna assign an IP, a public IP, to my instance because I'm gonna connect to my VM. Okay, so when you create a VM, it will provide you with a private IP and a public IP. So of course you won't be able to access the private IP unless there is a VPN tunnel, or you install a VPN server inside AWS. But for now, since we don't have any VPN tunnels, so we're just going to enable this. So it will give us a public IP. So we don't care about these for now. Let's just create an instance, because we're going to get into details about all these resources. So let's add storage. Okay. So here, the volume type, as you can just see, EBS is a block level storage volume. So basically, if you want to add a new volume, right, when you click on this one, it will give you one elastic volume. So what this means, you can create an instance, okay? So this is your root partition. This will be your root partition here, which has, let's say, 20 gig. So I can just create another volume, okay, another disk. Let's say, imagine you're in VMware and you just want to create another disk, okay? Or for example, let's say you have your laptop and you just connect your external hard drive to your laptop. So, and you just want to use that external hard drive as a different partition, okay? So EBS means EBS is a block level storage volume that persists independently from the lifetime of an EC2 instance, okay? So if you shut down this VM or this instance, this will stay alive and you can just attach this volume to another VM, okay? So imagine this is your VM, right? For now, this is your VM. So let's say you don't need your VM anymore and you're going to remove and delete this VM, okay? Which is your root partition. But you can keep this one, detach it from the root volume or detach it from the instance, and later on you can just attach it to another VM, okay? And excuse me. So delete on termination. So here you can just check this box or uncheck this box, but I strongly recommend to check this box, because imagine in the future when you create like 200 or 300 instances, you're gonna have so many EBS volumes, right? So many volumes, right? And if you don't, and when you terminate your VM, and if you don't delete this one, you're gonna have so many VMs, and AWS is going to charge you for that, okay? So when you get rid of the VM, it's, if you really don't need the root partition or other partitions, just delete on termination, okay? You can just delete them. Otherwise, there is a really good reason for you guys to keep this volume, okay? And since you have a free account, you can just have up to 30 gig of EBS SSD, okay? EBS volume. So these volumes are SSD, right? So they will mount this one on device SDA1, and EBS will be on device SDB. But for now, I don't really need this volume, so we're just gonna go with the root partition. So, and unfortunately, AWS won't encrypt your root partition, right? You won't be able to encrypt your root partition, but it gives you an option to encrypt your second or third or fourth volumes, okay? But you won't be able to encrypt your root partition. So you can add tags. For example, you can add the name of your instance, for example, AWS. I have created this one before, so that's why it will give you an option here. example, AWS test instance. Other tags could be like, for example, contacts or for example, from the department of IT. Okay, it will make it easier for you guys when someone create an instance. You will see some information about this instance. What is it for, and who is the owner of this VM, and why it's being created, and other informations. Like for example, like retention. Okay. So, okay. I really like this part. This is the security group. What does that mean? If you guys are familiar with firewalls, excuse me. So when you guys, if you guys are familiar with firewalls, it's pretty much the same concept, except it doesn't have deny, right? Like in ACL, because in ACL access control list, you have both allow and deny. But in security group, basically you're allowing port 22 from anywhere, right? So what this means is anyone can SSH to your instance. SSH is using port 22 from anywhere, right? So this is not so secure. Why? Because read this. The rules with source of 000 allow all IP addresses to access your instance. We recommend setting security group rules to allow access from known IP addresses only. Okay? So never ever use this in your organization, especially with use port 22. For example, if some people are using port 5000, let's just move this one. For example, you're using port 5000, then sure, you can just because port 5000 is for Docker, right? So, or HTTPS port 443 or HTTP port 80, right? So it will give you an option. Like for example, HTTP, it will give you port 80, and this is for IPv6. It's same as this one. So this one is from anywhere from IPv4 and anywhere from IPv6. Okay? This is IPv6 from anywhere, and this one is IPv4. And read this box. You will not be able to connect to this instance as the AMI requires port 22 to be open in order to have access. Okay? So you need to allow SSH so you'll be able to connect to your VM. But how are you going to access your VM? From where? There are two options. Either you just allow SSH from anywhere, or you can just allow it from your home. For example, just search for my IP, okay? This is your public IP address. Like for example, this is mine, okay? So I just add this one and put it here. So what this means is, I'm just saying, you can connect to my instance just from my home address. And that's it. From nowhere else, nobody else can connect to this instance except my home network. Okay? I also, because it needs the range, not just a single IP, you have to add, for one single host, you have to add 32. Okay? Because it's not a subnet. There are so many things to cover, I know guys, because there are so many concepts, but I'm going to go through them one by one. But for now, because we're just focusing on creating an instance, just remember, if you want to connect to your instance from your company, for example, right? Because I'm pretty sure your company has a public IP address, right? As I just search for my IP. You just add it here, /32. We don't need port 80 for now. So I have already created a security group before, so I'm just going to get rid of this one. See, there is an option for select an existing security group. So I'll just select this one. And there's so many of them, right? So you can just go with this one, which has port 22. And this is the source. That means from my home. Review and launch. Okay, so this page will show you exactly the details about your instance. Okay, what is the template? This is Ubuntu. It's called t2.micro. That's the instance type. 1 CPU, 1 memory, 1 gig of RAM. You allowed port 22. This is the firewall. Basically, it's the security group. The instance details. Storage. GP2 means SSD. Just remember this. GP2 means SSD. And these are the tags. Okay. Click on launch. Okay. So if you want to access your instance, AWS will ask you to create a key pair. What is a key pair? A key pair is a key. It's a public key. Okay, that. So here's the thing. It will generate a key for you, which is a public key and a private key. Okay, that public key will be stored by AWS, and that private key will be stored on your machine. Now we're going to create one and see how you can use that. Okay, I have already created one. Okay, if not, you can just create a new key pair. Okay. Excuse me. So just create one. Test. Okay. Then you download this key pair. Just download it. Okay. So it's called test.pem. So we call this a .pem key. Okay. So it will allow you to connect to your instance securely. So a key pair consists of a public key. So that I have created a key pair. AWS will keep the public key, and a private key will be stored on your laptop, on your machine, which is this one. This is the private key. Okay, and I'll show you how to use that key. So we launch this instance. Okay, your instance is now ready. You just click on this instance ID. The instance state is pending right now. That means it's in the process of creating your instance. So it has a private IP. As I told you, it has both private IP and public IP. So 172.31.35.66 is my private IP. Again, its instance state is running right now as it. So if you remember, I have asked AWS to provide me with also a public IP so I can connect to my machine. Okay. Okay. This is my key pair, as I said. The key pair name is test. And we're going to go through all these information in other classes, but for now, this is my instance. So I have 2 instances in total, okay? But this, so this is the one that I have created before, and this is my second VM, okay? If you click on connect, it will show you how to connect to this instance, okay? Okay, so now open terminal. It's clear. Okay. Now you have to uh, find that test.pem key. It's here, right? Look at this key. You have to find this key first. It is under tilde dot ssh. Okay? You have to go to this directory. You have to put this key I mean, you don't have to, because I normally put all my keys here because just want to have access to all of my keys, but you don't really have to. You just put them anywhere, but I would strongly recommend you to put your keys under that SSH. Okay. So, since I have downloaded this key, what I would do, I would just copy my test.temp key to .ssh. Okay? Now if I just go here, now you'll see my test.pm should be here. Okay? Now, next thing, very important thing that you have to do is make sure change the permission. So you do sudo chmod. It has to have the permission of 600. Okay? Okay? So now you're ready to use this to connect to your instance. Just type this, and it will show you the first time when you try to connect to your instance or your VM, you will get this message. You go ahead and say yes. And now you are connected to your instance, and this is your Ubuntu. And you can just go ahead and do a lot of stuff here. So I have told you that you, on your root partition, you have close to 20 gig of data, 20 gig of storage. And this is the public IP, and this is the whole DNS. Public DNS IPv4. This is basically use this one to connect to your instance. So the username is connect. The username is Ubuntu at public IPv4 DNS. So you need to use this test.pem key to connect to your instance. Okay? So in other classes, I'm going to talk about other resources here, like what are AMIs, what are volumes, snapshots, and security groups, key pairs, and network interfaces. Excuse me, guys. So for now, hope this video was useful for you guys. If you have any questions, please send me a message. Thank you.